Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons and diplomacy. Okay, I got a big 20-sided die. All right, you guys are going to decide what would you do day one if you were president right now.
Okay.
This is turn one. Go. So what I've done is I've looked into all the different kind of theories about what would happen and what government should be doing. So we're going to see what would you guys do first thing? What's your first order? We'll see how it lands.
Dungeons and okay, wait. Let me give me the rules here. I can say whatever.
Wait, I need to make a decision before I roll the die?
I'm going to roll the. Have you not?
Oh,
you
I
have
get it.
played Dungeons and Dragons.
No. I get it.
So are we operating as a team?
You guys are co-president, all right?
We're co-president.
You're both. You're the lovely two husbands of the president.
I hate this guy.
Right now, you're president, and somebody comes in, some guy barges in and says, "I'm Doug. This is what's going on." All these concerns are in front of you. How do you deal with it right now? Because there are many different factors.
Listen, I don't like you.
Hold on. Get the fucking mic. Jesus
I don't like you. You don't like me. But the world has thrust us together in this important moment. And we need to figure this out. And they're looking to us for answers. Okay? And while my constituents think you are a terrible, terrible person.
And they have been saying that, Doug says.
There are constituents.
Well,
we ran together.
For some reason. Okay. This is step one. So we're in now. We're in 2025.
What do you do right now? Let's say literally right now you are installed as president and this is presented to you. What do you do? You were describing about what maybe government should do.
I government, along with my co-governmentor, would like to propose a policy that provides significant subsidy or financial incentive to a select group of AI companies. And with the return that if they reach a certain level of success, by metrics of which I do not have the knowledge to set, that the government retains a large portion of ownership in those companies.
Okay, let's see how it goes. 13. So it goes well, but OpenAI comes up to you and they say, look, DeepSeek is going to ignore that. They're going to be profitable. It already costs so much money to generate these models that we are not going to be able to afford that. We're burning money right now. We're not profitable. To be clear, the AI companies are not profitable yet. We will not be able to continue operation if you're taking a tax from us, and particularly if we can't convince investors there might be a big payoff in the future. Our development will slow down. China's going to win. They're going to win in potentially a year because of this. They're right behind us. What do you do? Now it's turn 2.
I didn't even like turn 1.
You didn't like my decision?
Yeah, because I think it's still picking winners too early. We'd be picking a few companies to give subsidies for.
Okay, so you've pissed off some of the AI companies a little bit. They're a little spooked, but you rolled pretty well. They're still in your camp. They're ready to work with you. They're just saying, look, that's really going to slow us down right now. Is there something else you can do?
I mean, we're in 2025, so
we could can we even adjust our first turn anymore? Are we locked in?
So imagine that was day 1.
Yeah.
Now it's day 2 of your presidency. You'll have 3 days to try to solve this.
Well, we could open it up a bit. I think it doesn't have to be a select group of companies. It could be a large financial incentive or a tax break if you meet certain metrics of success. Does that mean any company that meets these metrics of success receives a gigantic
I guess the
amount
subsidy
of
I'm thinking is like a huge, broad-based, you might call it like intelligence program where we are trying our best to recruit.
Yeah, like a central intelligence.
The best AI researchers from across the world. Like I think right now we're driving away a lot of people who are really good at this and they're going to other countries, Europe or China.
So you want to attract more talent.
I want to attract the talent.
And you're doing this by taking the government control of the AI company.
No. I'm just talking about a government
just generally
subsidy program towards research.
Okay.
And then I think we both agree some sort of UBI, right? Some sort of like, I don't know where you stand on that, but some sort of way of protecting people who have lost their job from AI from the worst economic consequences.
Okay, the day's almost over. You got to have a press release. What specifically are you doing? What specifically are you doing? That sounds great. That sounds great.
Future forward.
What's our policy for attracting talent? You just said attract talent. You didn't say how.
You guys are doing very political stuff right now. You need specific policy. What's going on? The day's almost over.
This is hard for me. I'm 88 and I can't make decisions.
I'm 92 and I'm in my diaper.
It's 3 p.m. It's nap time.
I still think it's A1. I still think it's A1 if you haven't come up with an answer.
You could send research grants to universities. You could do a outreach program to leading AI researchers from other countries and try to attract them to come to America. That would be like one. And then
Okay, research grants to foreign students and or researchers for AI programs.
Okay, incentivizing them to come. You roll 16.
That's pretty
okay,
damn
that's
good.
good. Okay, so
dude.
the AI companies are on board and they think if the government subsidizes, that goes well. The problem now is the Republicans start to say, we don't want to spend more money. We have to cut it down. At most, we should be cutting taxes for these companies so they can accelerate growth. However, because you rolled a 16, enough people are becoming unemployed and pissed off that it does seem that it's shifting towards the Democrats, and you might be able to make that argument in 2 years, but it's currently 2025. What do you do on your final day of office?
We only have 3 days in
You only have
office.
3 days of office.
3 days in office.
The point of this is what would you do right now? Because everybody's freaking out about it and it's a huge problem. But what can you realistically do if you were the president right now? What would you do?
I'm a Democratic president about to leave the office.
You're whatever president.
I'm going to become
I'm just a guy.
a Republican podcaster.
Be clear,
I'm trying to make some money.
you're trying to pivot. No, I got you. Change
going-
my residency to Malta, become a Republican
I'm gonna
podcaster.
start doing
Okay,
the
so
tour.
you
Theo Vaughn.
I
begrudgingly-
pretend I live in Florida.
You begrudgingly got the AI companies on board with some side of tax. You're going to be hopefully dropping these, let's say, tax incentives for people to come here to the U.S. There's still a lot of unemployment happening, so your plan is basically UBI, but the Republicans are furious about this. They're saying the people should pick themselves up by their bootstraps. And besides, AI is going to create new jobs. Anything else you try to do, you can just be a
All right.
demagogue, just kind of rile people up, make sure you keep the policies going.
I think
mean,
this is what
go-
I think this
go
is
for it.
what
Day
we
three,
could
you
do.
take this
Day
one.
3. I think we need to put into place a gigantic or at least where we were, raise in corporate taxes, in personal income taxes. These need to be offset relative to the AI industry by supplying carve-outs that apply to AI workers at an individual level, like people that work at these companies individually, some sort of tax breaks that go to like the workers and owners of people who work in the industry that we desire.
Doug, can I call him a nerd and woke and run against him? Because I feel like I could easily.
We're already in power together.
Okay,
Yeah, but I
here's what we'll do. On the final term, you both get your own role, and we'll see who's
I'm
more
kidding.
successful. Okay,
Okay.
so here's your policy. What's yours?
And then
Yeah, it's that. It's to realize that the unemployment's rising, and so I'm just going to call him a nerd, and I'm going to call him woke.
Okay,
and
so
I'm
you
gonna-
demagogue
it's like
and just get
demagogue,
people
yeah,
angry.
that's a good strategy.
It's a 14, so it's okay. You guys do maintain the election, even though you are now theoretically poofed out of office. The party that wants to increase taxes does maintain, but it's just not going to be that much. 14 is not high enough to overcome lobbying, so you get a very symbolic tax increase, but it's not nearly enough to cover
not
the debt
enough.
and all the things. And then China probably wins, and it becomes even more chaotic.
We just had 3 decent rolls and we lost.
The
Yeah,
point
our
is,
rolls
this
are
is
pretty
complex as fuck. No, what I'm saying though, look, there was way worse options that could happen. All right, I gave you relatively good ones. Of the AI companies go along, you managed to attract talent. I think in this situation, if you guys had done that and managed to convince the electorate to increase taxes, that's probably the best outcome. And this is, I guess, tying it back to actual stuff here. This is what Dario, the CEO talking about this, is kind of advocating for. He's saying, first, we just need to warn people. We got to start training people to be aware of the AI tools, so at least they're not caught off guard. Governments need to start forming committees and policies, potentially retraining policy type stuff. And then what he suggested, which I like, is a token tax, which is basically a value-added tax like EU has, where every time a company is making money from AI, some percentage of that, let's say 3%, gets pooled to a government fund that is then supporting these programs. So essentially a tax, similar to what you guys said, some kind of tax on AI, productivity that can then be used to help people as this kind of like devastation spreads.
It's so funny because in this insane D&D-esque example where we had 3 fake short days in office, I was thinking through everything that I could come up with in that moment and then being like, but then this, and then I just imagined what it's actually like to be in charge. And
You have to,
Yeah,
maybe it's harder than
I became a
You have to
grifter in 3
communicate
days.
it well. Yeah, 3
That's
days you're
the
a
incentive
podcaster.
of.
I could just go make a podcast where I talk about how women suck and women suck and why won't they date me?
It's good to have a backup plan as
Yeah.
the
And
president.
I'll move to Miami and I'll invite a bunch of girls on every week,
Take
but I won't
trend.
let them speak. That's important.
Get swole, get steroids, and